Now, Miss Brown, would you like to know where you are?
Yes, I would.
Then let us have a glance at the map of our valley.
Just look at that. Are they battle flags?
Well, not exactly a battle, Miss Brown, but a victory nevertheless. This is where I was born, and this is where we are at this very moment. And this is where I intend to remain for the rest of my life, here in this very house.
Oh, you have everything so perfectly planned. But what if the house burns down?
Oh, I've considered that too. It won't. I've taken every precaution. You may have noticed the lightning rod on the roof, Moulton's Imperial Pinpoint, the very best. And if I should ever be blessed with little Wilsons, I should expect Mrs. Wilson to keep matches away from them. That isn't asking too much, is it?
Oh, no. I think that's the least Mr. Wilson could expect from Mrs. Wilson.
Now I shall call my mother. Oh, however, if in spite of all my provisions a slight blaze should occur, it may reassure you to know that I am chief of the Friars Carmel Volunteer Fire Department.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, you aren't.
I am.
It would be almost worth a fire to see you in action.
Thank you, Miss Brown. Mother? Mother? Mother's been resting. Mother, I want you to meet our guest. And now, Miss Brown, if you have no objection, I shall play something on the harmonium.
Oh, you play the harmonium, too? Is there anything you don't do, Mr. Wilson?
You have your choice. Sweet Alice, Ben Bolt, or Flow Gently, Sweet Afton.
Oh, they're both so beautiful. I wish you'd decide for me, Mr. Wilson.
Then shall we say Sweet Alice, and maybe Sweet Afton as an encore? Ready, Miss Brown? Oh, a client.
I'm awfully glad you finished the song before the bell rang.
I should have finished it in any case. You think I'm going out to attend to the client at once, don't you?
Well, aren't you?
No. No, indeed. It is the privilege of a successful establishment to keep the client on edge. He's so grateful when you do arrive. I'm glad you're so responsive to music, Miss Brown.
When you were playing, it did something to me. I saw you in your fireman's hat, climbing up a steep ladder and saving a child. It was all so beautiful and brave.
Thank you, Miss Brown. Oh, I remember now. I have a client, haven't I? Excuse me. Yes, what can I... Hello? Hello? Outrageous. Mother's taken a great liking to you.
How do you know? She didn't say anything.
That's the point. Mother doesn't waste words on flattery. If she speaks, it's to correct faults.
Oh, I like your mother, too. Once or twice I thought she was going to smile at me.
She likes to see a young lady who doesn't put stuff on her face. If I may say so, so do I.
Well, it wouldn't do me any good. I tried it, but I look worse.
They all look worse, only they haven't the sense to know it.
Oh, it's Mr. Belinsky. Hello, Mr. Belinsky.
Hello, Cluny Brown.
Mr. Belinsky, this is Mr. Wilson, the chemist.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Mr. Belinsky's staying at Friars Carmel.
Oh, a friend or relative of Mrs. Maley or Mr. Sirrett, I suppose.
Oh, no, he's a guest of Sir Henry and Lady Carmel.
Guest?
I understand Mr. Wilson's surprise. A guest is not ordinarily aware of the existence of a maid. That's what troubled you, Mr. Wilson, wasn't it?
Exactly, sir.
We understand each other, don't we, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, thank you, sir.
Well, you see, we at Friars Carmel do not consider Miss Brown merely as a maid. No, we are very proud of our Cluny and interested in her welfare. And above all, in her friends.
Naturally, I understand, sir. Oh, 7 o'clock, Miss Brown.
Yes, how time flies.
Yes, it does. But we must learn to fly with it. You're going to be a bit late. And I certainly don't want to make a bad impression on Mrs. Maley.
Well, I'd better lope along. Goodbye, Mr. Wilson.
Goodbye, Miss Brown.
Thanks for a wonderful afternoon in sweet Alice Ben Bolt.
A very worthy young lady.
I'd like a word with you, Mr. Wilson.
I'm at your disposal, sir.
Mr. Wilson, I presume that you have weighed your intentions toward Miss Brown as carefully as you weigh the contents of a pill.
I assure you, sir, I am not the sort of man who would invite a young lady for tea, merely to while away an afternoon.
Well, I must admit I was worried about Cluny, but you have relieved my fears. Mr. Wilson, you couldn't have prescribed a better sedative than yourself.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Not at all. Good night, Mr. Wilson.
Good night, sir.
Oh, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
You don't drink, do you?
Oh, no, sir.
Good. Sit down, Cluny. Now, look here, Cluny. I know we have a pact. Now, let me tell you something about pacts. Pacts are made for 2 reasons. 1, to be kept. 2, to be broken. Now, I don't say let's break our pact. But on the other hand, I'm not suggesting that we keep it. Hello, Cluny.
Hello, Mr. Belinsky. I came as soon as I could.
Sit down, Cluny.
How do you like Mr. Wilson? Do you still think my ship has arrived?
Look here, Cluny. Out there is an ocean. And on the ocean is a boat, braving the storm and battling the billows. That's not Mr. Wilson. But in a quiet harbor, there is a freighter. Its engine is turned off. No smoke comes out of its funnel. Nothing could ever budge it. Neither wind nor wave. That's Mr. Wilson.
Oh, I'm so glad you like him.